Okay, everybody, happy Tuesday, big waves to you. I don't know if I wished you a happy February yet, but happy February to all of you amazing people. It's February the 4th, 2025. Isn't that crazy? Did January just go like phew, right past us, right past us? So here's the thing, we'll be saying that very soon. We'll be like, how did it's already December? How did that happen in 2025? So moves right into the word for today is bold. Bold. But before we get into that, I want to wish a happy birthday to Allison Boland, Tamara Bullard, Samantha, Alf, all of these amazing humans. It's their birthday. We hope you have the most amazing birthday ever. And if they're on today, we'll be looking for them. And if it's your birthday and we didn't see it, please let us know. We always want to celebrate you, um, because you deserve to be celebrated. So, the word for today is bold. Bianca Mounts, this is your word for the year. And I, wa- I, I got a couple of things, so I got to get right into it. So, if you look at bold, I want you to reflect on your life. Your life. I want you to first think about, like, what's one thing that you could think about in your life that you're like, you know what, I was bold. I was really bold. Because when you look at bold, it's you perceive something as dangerous, audacious, scary. It makes you afraid, right? That's kind of the definitions. And you're needing confidence. Like you're having to step past fear. What's those things in your life? Was it learning to swim? Do you remember learning to swim? I remember my dad giving me a nudge in the deep end. Now, he can swim and he was a protector, so I'm sure he had my back. But guess what I learned to do? I learned to kick. I was not happy either. So, but I did learn to swim. What is it that you stepped past, or you might have actually got nudged in and you had to sink or swim, right? What is those things? I know we all have them. I know we can all think about them. So I want to read something to you really quick because so many of you have. Pat Ogden, I think about some of the things that she did over 2024, really transforming, doing a lot of different things like that. She knows what they are. I know what they are. I experienced the wins with her. I just, you know, I think about at times, I see Buffy Wallen on. I remember times through growing with her and doing what we did, she had to stretch her limits, right? There was a lot of fear. Brooke, I remember your first presentation. I'll never forget it. Okay. I hope there's a million of them to come, but I remember the first one. And I can go around the room. I remember Hill Blue talking about, oh, my family don't want to do this. And then his daughter joined, right? Isn't that amazing? So, all kinds of different things. I could go around the room of the coach's corner and think about, like, boldness. So I want to share this with you really quick. The leap. I want you to think about you. And I'm going to read this, okay? Myra's hand trembled as she gripped the edge of the stage. The auditorium stretched before her, packed with hundreds of expected faces. She had always been the quiet one, the girl who blended in the background, who feared speaking up. But today was different. The debate competition had always been her nightmare. Public speaking made her stomach just twist in knots. Her voice would typically dissolve into a whisper, yet something inside her had shifted. Years of silent observation, of bottled up of her thoughts, had created a pressure that now demanded it to be released. Her coach's words echoed in her mind. Myra, your voice matters. Myra, your perspective is valuable. Myra, the people in the audience need to hear from you. Stand up, stand up, be bold. Her first words came out strong and clear, not a tremble, not a stutter. She spoke about systematic inequities, about the power of education, about the changes young people could create. With each sentence, her confidence grew. When she finished, the auditorium stood up and cheered her on. They stood up and clapped. They stood up and applauded. Not just polite clapping, serious clapping throughout the auditorium. Myra had discovered her boldness wasn't something external, it had been within her all along. God helped her bring it out, and her coach helped her bring it out. Myra was forever changed, and today is a profound public speaker all over the world. I share that, I read you that true story. What's the benefits of being bold? You can't be heard unless we step up. People hear our voice when we're bold. We start to gain confidence when we're bold, just like Myra. Being bold motivates us. There's some kind of energy that's internal when we start to hear and we realize we step past fear. Being bold attracts other people, a visionary that's got a vision, other people that want to step past. We start to surround ourselves with an army of people just like us, visionarians, people of bold, and it's exciting. There's something in us, although it's scary when we step past fear and we grab bold and we do it anyway. We grab this and we say, you know what? I'm going to step past. I'm going to be bold. There's something in us that yearns for it, that God made it in us, right? So I just wanted to share that with you this morning. I thought that was huge around bold. Andrew, I'll turn it to you. Great lesson for me this morning.
Great lesson and great words. So that was a good one. Good story. I was cheering for Myra, so that was fantastic. So the quote that I found was freedom lies in being bold, and that's Robert Frost. And as I was looking in the mirror and I was analyzing myself and I was thinking, freedom sure sounds great. Bold does not describe me probably in any way, shape, or form. So what could Andrea do? Like, how do we develop a little bit more boldness if we tend not to be super bold? So first of all, so I looked into it. This is the list that I got. So first of all, pretend that you already are. So we've all heard it, like the saying, fake it till you make it. And so if you know somebody that's already bold, or maybe there's a character from a movie or a book who's daring and brave, spend some time thinking about how they would act or react in a specific situation. So if you're in a moment where you're feeling perhaps more on the timid side, maybe you're coming into Destin and there's about to be, 1,000 strangers in a room and you would rather go hide in a corner than go chit chat maybe with them, even though you love them so much. So think about, okay, what would a bold person do right now? If I were bold, if I was this character, how would I manage this room? What would I do next? And try to fake it until you feel it. Next is to do something unpredictable. I think sometimes the person that we need to shock the most with our boldness is us. So if there is something that would completely surprise somebody else if you did it, I don't know, maybe you're going to jump out on the karaoke floor and belt out a song, and everybody would be like, who in the world is that? Well, go do it, because you're going to shock yourself in that moment as well and allow you to forge those little pathways that you can be bold in the future. Next is to ask for what you want. Some of us, this can be really, really hard. Does anybody else struggle with asking? But but ask for what you want rather than waiting. And I can be a little guilty of this. I'm going to wait happily until somebody reads my mind, until I'm not so happy that nobody did, right? So if we really want to be bold, we've got to ask for what we want. So rather than, waiting for them to recognize us or expecting somebody to consider our needs, we got to step up and speak up and ask. Next is to take a little risk. And sometimes it's a little tiny risk, sometimes it's a big risk, but just take the risk, realizing, and we all know this, there's a difference between being reckless and accepting risks. And we had the privilege of hearing Darren Zobrist, and if you guys don't know him, he's phenomenal. One of the owners of our company, like investor, knows a lot of stuff, right, about money. And he was talking about that we need to analyze ourselves on where we fall in that risk versus safety pendulum and be able to say, okay, if I want to do a little bit more financially, maybe I have to be a little bit braver in the risk category. He said it better. You'll have to hear him talk. But it made me think, when I'm analyzing myself, I probably fall in the real, non-risky category, and that can hold us back. So I've got to take just those small risks, be it adding $5 more to the stock market today than I was planning on doing, whatever that looks like. Go take those small risks. And so sometimes that might mean that we have to ask that bold person, what would you do in their circumstance? Because all these options seem crazy. But ask and then make the decision anyway, even if it feels a little bit risky. Next is to practice listening to your gut. We know what we need to do the majority of the time, right? In most different circumstances, but we have this little voice that sometimes we say, shh, and we try to shush it down, and we don't listen to our gut, which really can stop us from being a little bit more bold. And then lastly, I'll leave with this, is realize that even if we made the craziest decision and it was the wrong one, most of the time we can mop it right up. We can change our mind. We can course correct and get ourselves back on track in a way that feels perhaps a little bit more comfortable. So great word today. Thank you so much for sharing this one. I hope you have an incredibly bold year, Bianca.
Yeah, it was a great word, and especially a lot of you's headed. First of all, safe travels headed to Destin, Florida. A lot of you are being bold this week. You're going to be on stage. You're going to be stepping out of your comfort zone. I applaud you for that. Um, we're also going to end the coaches corner this week on Wednesday. So tomorrow will be our last coaches corner, because we have actually meetings during the coaches corner on Thursday and Friday. So guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Safe travels down. We pray for your safety. Um, thank you for what you represent. Thank you for being a part of this community. And we couldn't do it without you. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Love you guys. We'll see you back
God
tomorrow.
bless.
Have a good
Thank
one.